The year 1991 marked the collapse of the Somali Republic. Siad Barre's regime fell, leaving Mogadishu in chaos and the nation in ruins. The government, army, and police vanished almost overnight, replaced by clan militias and warlords. Mogadishu's streets became battlegrounds, and the dream of a unified Somalia was shattered. The collapse was total, institutions dissolved, and survival depended on clan and gun. Former allies turned on each other, carving the country into violent fiefdoms. The national army fractured along clan lines, fueling endless conflict. Families fled, communities were destroyed, and the term failed state became synonymous with Somalia. The hope of liberation from dictatorship gave way to anarchy and despair. The power vacuum left by Barre was filled not by unity, but by chaos. No one maintained order. Armed groups ruled by force. The world watched as Somalia spiraled into violence and famine. The nation's center, purpose, and soul were lost. The future seemed defined only by conflict and uncertainty. In the north, the former British Somaliland faced a different choice. Cities like Hargeisa and Burao had been devastated by Barre's forces, but the people stood at a crossroads. The Somali national movement, having fought for liberation, could have joined the southern chaos. One path led to Mogadishu and the scramble for power. The other path was inward, toward peace and rebuilding. Instead of seeking dominance, Somaliland's leaders chose stability over ambition. They rejected the cycle of violence that consumed the south. The decision was not made by one leader but by a collective will to avoid repeating past mistakes. They focused on healing their own wounds and building a peaceful home. This choice set Somaliland apart, defining its future for decades. While the south descended into war, the north chose to create something new. It was a conscious rejection of power for its own sake. True victory, they realized, was building a stable society. This decision would shape Somaliland's destiny. The SNM had military control and popular support, but faced a crucial test. They could have established a military government, as many liberation movements do, but they had just fought a dictatorship and knew the dangers of absolute power. The memory of Barre's regime was fresh. Repression, secret police, and clan favoritism. Imposing rule by force risked new civil war and alienating other clans. The SNM leaders understood that peace imposed by force is fragile. Instead, they chose to step back from power. They handed the future to the people, not to themselves. Their role shifted from liberators to facilitators of civilian government. The real test was not seizing power, but giving it away. This decision prevented new conflict and set the stage for inclusive peace. It was a rare act of restraint in a region torn by war. Somaliland's future would be decided by consensus, not coercion. With military rule rejected, Somaliland looked inward for answers. The world ignored the north, forcing its people to rely on their own traditions. They convened a grand assembly in Burao, gathering clan elders, poets, and religious leaders. Under acacia trees, they debated and negotiated, drawing on pastoral democracy. No foreign mediators or aid-dictated terms. This was a homegrown process. The legitimacy came from consensus, not international recognition. The Burao Conference showed Somali society's capacity for self-governance. Peace and order were built from within, not imposed from outside. The Burao Conference's most significant act was restoring Somaliland's independence. They didn't declare secession but reclaimed the sovereignty held in 1960. For 5 days, Somaliland was a recognized nation before uniting with Somalia. The union, meant to fulfill pan-Somali dreams, had failed, marked by marginalization and war. The 1991 declaration dissolved a broken pact, not a nation. They reverted to their original status, grounded in history and law. This was not ethnic separatism, but a legal restoration. Their claim was rooted in international precedent, not rebellion. The narrative, rebuilding a nation once sacrificed for unity. This act gave Somaliland a powerful foundation for legitimacy. It was a choice for self-determination, not division. Somaliland's most remarkable choice was rejecting revenge. After years of oppression, the urge for retribution was strong. Instead, leaders declared a general amnesty, no revenge killings, no purges. Former enemies were encouraged to reintegrate, not ostracized. Skills and willingness to contribute mattered more than past allegiances. This pragmatic approach demobilized potential spoilers and built trust. Former adversaries became stakeholders in peace. Dialogue and reintegration prevented new insurgencies. The policy required restraint from those who suffered most. Choosing peace over revenge laid the foundation for stability. It was a difficult but transformative investment in the future. Forgiveness became Somaliland's greatest strength. With reconciliation in place, Somaliland faced the challenge of security. Unlike the South, there were no foreign peacekeepers. Security had to be built locally. Demobilization began through clan elders, who persuaded fighters to disarm for their community's sake. This consensus-based approach worked where outside interventions failed. New national institutions, a police force and army, were created, drawing recruits from all clans. These forces protected all citizens, not just one group. Funding came from local businesses, investing in their own stability. Security became a collective responsibility. Every community had a stake in peace. The result, organic, lasting stability envied by the region. Somaliland proved that peace must be built from within. 1991 was just the beginning for Somaliland. The country was in ruins, unrecognized, and isolated. Building a state from nothing required resilience and self-reliance. The peace was fragile, tested by internal disputes and rivalries. Each crisis forced Somaliland to return to its traditions of dialogue and consensus. Overcoming challenges strengthened its institutions and democracy. The choice for peace and restoration was a bold gamble. Somaliland traded international attention for self-sufficiency. Decades later, it stands as a testament to the power of a different path. The journey continues, but the foundation of peace and self-reliance remains strong.